Welcome to my class. I am Pamela Jasmine. Today I am going to teach Waste Management Part 2. So let's discuss segregation. What is segregation of waste? Segregation means dividing the waste into different categories like dry waste, wet waste, biodegradable and non-biodegradable. So what is dry waste? Dry waste consists of waste that does not decay and is non-biodegradable. What is non-biodegradable? Non-biodegradable means it cannot be decomposed or it cannot be broken down by microorganisms. So it includes wood and related products like timber, sawdust and plastic and then plastic products, broken crockery, steel utensils, etc. These are non-biodegradable and it is called dry waste. Now, wet waste. Wet waste composes waste that is organic in nature and is biodegradable. Biodegradable means it can be broken down or decomposed by living organisms. It includes kitchen waste from the homes and eating establishments like vegetables and fruit peels, stale food, rotten fruits, etc. What is the need of segregation? So, when waste is segregated, there occurs reduction in the volume of waste that reaches landfills. That means when we segregate waste, it reduces its quantity and it would help that so the waste reaches to the landfill will be less. So then air and water pollution is considerably reduced and it becomes easier to apply different processes of waste disposal like composting, recycling and incineration. If we segregate waste, it will be easier to for the different processes. See that process of waste disposals. So that is composting. So wet waste can be used for composting. Then plastic and all can be recycled. And incineration. Some waste we can burn. So in fact, segregation of waste is the key to effective waste management. It should be the duty of each household to segregate domestic waste into different dustbins like biodegradable and non-biodegradable and then convert biodegradable ones into other useful products like compost or gobar gas. It is the duty of each and every household. So every house should have different dustbins for keeping dry waste and wet waste. Dry waste can be recycled and wet waste can be used for composting and making gobar gas. So it is a very environmental friendly procedure. It is the moral duty of each and every individual. Urban residential colonies should undertake collective efforts for safe disposal of domestic waste as well as sweepings from the gardens and public parks. These sweepings can be converted into compost and used for the maintenance of these gardens and parks. So in the urban colonies, in the urban residential colonies should undertake collective efforts for safe disposal of domestic waste as well as sweeping from the gardens and public parks. So these sweepings can be converted into compost and it can be used to maintain these gardens and parks. It can be used as an organic manure for the plants in the park. Dumping, open dumping. In this method, waste materials are dumped in open lowlands far away from the city. So this is not environment friendly. However, this is the cheapest method and does not need much planning. See, open dumping, it is not environment friendly. It is cheap, but still it has so many harmful effects. So, the open pits spoil the sight of the areas and become a breeding ground for mosquitoes, flies, insects, etc. that are the carriers of harmful diseases. See, this open dumping is harmful. So it will spoil the site, or it will spoil the beauty of nature, and it would be a breeding place for harmful insects and like mosquitoes and flies, insects, etc. And that are the carriers of harmful diseases. So these mosquitoes spread so many diseases like dengue and malaria, etc. Then flies. These flies also spread so many diseases like cholera and all. So they give out foul odor, bad smell. See, this waste is dumped in open spaces that will create or that will emit foul smelling gases, and the burning of waste material in the open dumps pollutes the air. When we burn these dry waste in the open area, that would pollute the air. And another danger of open dumping is that rainwater could carry the harmful substances to the nearby streams. Then that would spoil water also. Then when there is rain, this harmful waste will be carried into the water bodies. That is, rainwater would carry the harmful substances to the nearby streams, ponds or lakes, and if the water seeps down, it could pollute the groundwater. So surface water as well as the groundwater is polluted by this method, by this open dumping of waste. Sanitary landfill. In this method, the waste is packed and dumped daily at the site and is covered with earth to prevent insects or rodents from entering into the landfill. This is a safer method. After putting the waste, it will be covered with mud. That would prevent the entry of rodents and insects. The waste then is subjected to bacterial decomposition. Physical, chemical and biological reactions take place, generating different gases like carbon dioxide, methane, ammonia and hydrogen sulfide. Then when it is covered with mud, it will be decomposed by bacteria. Then physical, chemical and biological reactions take place. So all the types of reactions takes place, and it would emit gases like carbon dioxide, methane, ammonia and hydrogen sulfide. These gases can be recovered and used to generate power. But these gases can be used to generate power. Sanitary landfill is a way of disposing refuse on land without creating nuisance or hazard to public health or safety. It is a safer method. It won't create any hazard or nuisance to the public health or safety. The waste disposal is carried out with minimal environment damage and in areas already spoiled or in need of restoration. So this waste disposal is carried out with minimal environmental damage. It won't damage the environment so much, and it is done in the areas already spoiled or the areas which need of restoration. In a sanitary landfill, biological method of disposing of waste is used. So the waste undergoes 5 phases. Which are the 5 phases? In the first phase of operation, aerobic bacteria depletes the available oxygen and causes the temperature to increase. In the first phase, bacteria would remove all the oxygen in it and the temperature would increase. In the second phase, anaerobic conditions get established and lead to the evolution of hydrogen and carbon dioxide. In the second phase, there is anaerobic condition because in the first phase, aerobic bacteria removed all the oxygen. So, anaerobic condition develops and hydrogen and carbon dioxide will be evolved. And in the third phase, phase 3 establishes population of bacteria and the beginning of methanogenic activity, that is production of methane from the decomposition of organic matter. In the third phase, bacteria would multiply. So many bacteria will be there, and this bacteria will start methanogenic activity. That is the production of methane from the decomposition of organic matter. Then, in the fourth phase, the methanogenic activity becomes stabilized. In the fourth phase, that same activity will be continued, but it will be stable. The fifth phase depletes the organic matter and the system returns to aerobic state. Then in the fifth phase is the last phase, that depletes the organic matter and the system returns to aerobic state. So then in the last stage, that aerobic condition will come back. That means air will be there. The advantages of sanitary landfill as opposed to open dumping are. So there are so many advantages for the sanitary landfill method. So open dumping is very harmful, but sanitary landfill method is comparatively better. So there are some advantages for this sanitary landfill method. It is free from air pollution from burning. So in this sanitary landfill method, there is no burning. So pollution can be avoided. There is no pollution. Then the health problems are minimized since flies, rats and other pests cannot breed in the landfill because of the covered waste. Health hazard is not there. Health problems are minimized because flies, rats and other pests cannot breed in it because it is covered with mud. Then it is mostly free from fire hazards. So it is covered. So there is no threat of fire. That is from the fire hazard. That is also an advantage. So sanitary landfill is the much improved or much favorable method of waste dumping. Composting. What is composting? Composting of waste is an aerobic method of decomposing solid waste. Aerobic means in the presence of air. So composting is a method in which household waste is decomposed in the presence of air. The organic waste from households are made to undergo decomposition in such a way that bacteria and other microorganisms break them down and produce a safe, clean and soil-like material called compost. So compost, in this method, the organic waste from households, from each and every house are made to undergo decomposition. Decomposition in such a way that this bacteria and other microorganisms would decompose this waste and produce a safe, clean and soil-like material called compost. In India, both the manual as well as mechanical methods of composting are used. So in India, two types of composting are there. One is manual and the other is mechanical. Manual means we are doing it by ourselves. Mechanical is with the use of machines. In the rural areas, layers of vegetable waste and night soil are alternated in a shallow hole dug in the ground. So manual, we are discussing manual, that is in the rural areas and all, in villages and all. Layers of vegetable waste and night soil are alternated. See, one layer of vegetable or waste, vegetable waste and the one layer of soil. Night soil means fertile soil, regular fertile soil. So layer by layer it is put. One layer of vegetable peel or vegetable waste and another layer of soil, again one layer of vegetable peel, like that. Then in a shallow hole dug in the ground, they make a pit or a hole on the ground and one layer of vegetable peels or vegetable waste is put, then another layer of soil, then again one layer of vegetable waste, another layer of soil, like that layer by layer this waste and soil are put ground. The mixture is turned regularly for about 3 months to provide air to the mixture. Then the mixture will be mixed. That means turned. It will be mixed because aeration should be there. Air should be available. Then the compost is left for another month without turning for the process to take effect. In 3 months, they will mix it up or they will turn it upside down. And for 1 month, it will be kept without any mixing. The compost is left for another month without turning for the process to take effect. This method of composting is known as the indoor method. So this method is called indoor method. And in the mechanical process used in Bangalore and adopted by other cities in the country, the waste material is placed in layers about 1 meter deep. So this is mechanized. In Bangalore and other cities, this method is followed. So see, it is waste material is placed in layers about 1 meter deep. So it is collected from every society, and it will be, this waste will be put in 1 meter depth. The material is not turned at all, but it decomposes completely in about 5 months. Then it won't be mixed up. It won't be turned. It will be there for continuous 5 months. This method of composting is known as Bangalore method. So Bangalore only started this first. That's why this method is called Bangalore method. Now, advantages of composting. The major benefits of composting are: it enhances soil nutrients and water retention capacity of soil. It enriches the soil because this composting is we get manure, good organic manure. So enhances soil nutrients and water retention capacity of soil. It can retain water. Water will not be flown away or it will not be seeped down. Then it suppresses plant diseases. It will reduce plant diseases. It rejuvenates poor soil by adding humus. So it will fertilize the soil, rejuvenate the soil, poor soil by adding humus. It absorbs odors and degrades volatile organic compounds. So it absorbs all bad smell and degrades volatile organic compounds. It prevents pollution by preventing pollutants in stormwater runoff from draining into water resources. So it prevents water pollution also by preventing pollutants in stormwater runoff from draining into water resources. It checks soil erosion and silting on embankments. So it would check soil erosion and it would prevent silting. That means soil layers would be piled up in some areas. That would be avoided. It reduces cost as there is no need for excess water, fertilizers and pesticides. So it can be done in a very cheap manner. It reduces cost as there is no need for excess water. You just learned 4 points which are easy for you. Reduce, reuse, recycle waste. Waste can be effectively managed by using the following 3 R's. Which are the 3 R's? Reduce, reuse and recycle. Reducing the waste. The waste can be reduced by making use of the following methods. Change of process. In industries, changes can be made in the production process to reduce waste generation. This reduction can be achieved by either changing the material used to finish the product or by using more efficiently the input materials in the production process or both. So in the industries and all, they should change the process of production. They can either change the material of production or they can change the products used for finishing the products, or they can use both these methods. Which are the methods? So they can see either by changing the material used to finish the product or by using more efficiently the input materials in the production or both. waste concentration. By using scientific techniques such as precipitation and evaporation, the amount of liquid waste can be reduced. So, liquid waste can be reduced by evaporation and then precipitation. These two methods can be used to reduce the fluid waste or liquid waste. Then, incineration can be used to get rid of inflammable waste. If some wastes are inflammable, it can be burned. That is incineration. Now, segregation of waste, that we have already discussed. If we segregate waste, we can use the dry waste for recycling and wet waste for composting, like that. So, first of all, non-hazardous waste are separated from hazardous waste rather than dumping them together. We should segregate hazardous, poisonous waste and non-hazardous waste before dumping. Then the small amount of hazardous waste can be treated. If we segregate, hazardous waste will be in small quantity. That can be treated easily. We can dispose of a large amount of non-hazardous waste in the traditional ways. So, non-hazardous waste can be disposed in the traditional method. Reusing the waste. In our houses and industries, many materials are discarded as waste. So, we from our house and industries and all, we discard or we throw away many things as waste. These materials have some value. And for instance, glass, metal pieces, rubber, wood fiber and paper products, it can be recycled and reused. In developing countries like India, some of the waste materials like old glass bottles, steel tires, tin cans are reused. India is a developing country. So we are using all the possible things to make other new products. For example, shoes or chappals are made from old tires. Water bags are made from leather. Lamps are made from tin cans, etc. So these things, from the tire, we throw away tires, but from the tires, chappals can be made, and water bags are made from leather. So leather water bags are there, and lamps are made from tin cans. So these things can be used for these purposes instead of throwing it away. Many waste collectors, that is rag pickers, roam around in the residential areas and industrial units to collect the solid waste. So, rag pickers and waste collectors roam around the city, industrial areas and residential areas to pick up this, to collect these solid waste. They segregate them and supply them to specialized artisans who make utility articles from such material and make a living from their skill. So these rag pickers would segregate these things and they would give this to artisans, and they would make so many good materials, utility articles with their skill. For example, a beautiful garden, that is rock garden, has been created by Nek Chand in Chandigarh using waste products like tin cans, bottles, broken pieces of crockery, etc. So he was a skilled person. So this Nek Chand in Chandigarh made a beautiful garden, that is rock garden in Chandigarh. He made use of all these thrown away things. That is waste products like tin cans, bottles, broken pieces of crockery, etc. Waste collectors thus help in making new production processes. So how waste collectors help our environment? So they would pick all the waste and segregate it, and they would give it to skilled artisans, and these thrown away waste materials will be created into beautiful products. Then they reduce the burden of waste disposal. So these rag pickers are also very useful to the society. They reduce the burden of waste disposal. Some solid waste from the industry can be utilized directly. Fly ash from power plants is used as a substitute for cement. It is very useful. So from the industries, these fly ashes should be collected and it can be used as cement. Bricks are made from fly ash. So fly ash is a useful byproduct, or it's a waste actually, but it can be used as cement and it can be used for making bricks. Fly ash is also used in making roads and filling up low-lying areas. So fly ash can be used in three ways. It can be substituted as cement. It is used for making bricks, and it is used for making roads and filling up low-lying areas. Recycling of waste. Besides reusing the material by using physical processes, we also use recycling process by treating the waste before it is used in a manufacturing process. There are physical segregation. We can pick it up from the waste, and also chemical processing is also there. So we also use recycling processes by treating the waste before it is used in a manufacturing process. In India, we have tons of bagasse from sugarcane during a particular season. What is bagasse? Bagasse is the waste of sugarcane. So after removing the juice from sugarcane, that remains is called bagasse. So bagasse is used in the manufacture of paper pulp. So instead of using trees, wood, soft wood for making paper pulp, this bagasse can be used. So we can save trees. And this helps to save trees which are normally used for making paper pulp. Bagasse is also used for making packaging material for dairy products. Bagasse is used for packaging material, as making packaging material. Paper industry recycles pieces of wood from furniture industry, used and discarded cloth and used paper. Plastics are recycled by plastic manufacturers. About 80% of the plastic waste is recycled in India, which is about 0.75 million tons a year. The quantity is so high, 0.75 million tons every year. Plastic waste is this much, 0.75 million tons. So it is recycled. It is a very environment friendly task. Plastic is non-biodegradable. The bonds of carbon in plastic are impossible to break down through a physical or chemical process. Plastic is non-biodegradable. The bond of carbon in plastic is very strong and it cannot be broken by any physical or chemical process. So they have to be incinerated, recycled or buried in landfills. Plastic can be incinerated, that means it can be burned, but it would pollute the air. Then it would be recycled or buried in landfills. The plastic bags which are extensively used in India are made from recycled plastics. So the plastic bags are recycled plastic. The recycled plastic bags are harmful because the melting of plastic and plastic products break some polymer chains into smaller units which are harmful. So these recycled plastic bags are very harmful because when these bonds by melting the plastic, that products break some polymer chains and it would be converted into smaller units, and then these polymers will be broken down into smaller units, and this is very harmful. That's all about waste management. If you like this video, please like, share and subscribe. Thank you for watching. God bless.